Shalom and welcome to Parasha Espresso, your weekly fix for spiritual lessons taken from the Parasha. Grab your coffee and let's take a look at the weekly Torah reading. This week we'll be looking at Parasha Vayeitzei, which runs from Genesis chapter 28 verse 10 to chapter 32 verse 3. Enjoy it, and don't forget to give us your feedback on Facebook, Twitter, or via our website.
Police! Nobody move! The doors burst open and police flooded in to arrest those gathered for the meeting. But this wasn't a drug bust, as you might have suspected. This was the arrest of a number of high-ranking FIFA football officials, not for gun running or human trafficking, but for fraud. On the 27th of May 2015, 14 FIFA officials were arrested at a hotel in Zurich on charges of money laundering and mismanagement. Essentially, they had committed fraud and had managed to steal and extort large sums of money for their personal use. What a shock! Perhaps we were all a little too naive to think that such a large and prestigious organization as FIFA wouldn't be riddled with corruption. As a result of the ongoing investigation, FIFA's president Sepp Blatter was banned from any connection with FIFA for 6 years. Ouch. Corruption and fraud is probably far more widespread than we can imagine, and not just in big companies. Since the dawn of time, people have been trying to con each other out of money or power or something else they want. Jacob in the Bible was no different. Having successfully conned his brother out of the inheritance and blessing in last week's Torah portion, he's on the run, but manages to make it to his relatives on time before Esau can think of pursuing him. Jacob proceeds to fall in love with his cousin Rachel and agrees to work 7 years in return for marrying her. Sounds like a good deal. But here's where it all goes wrong. The con man Jacob is himself conned by his conniving uncle and ends up marrying the wrong girl. Laban deceitfully gives Jacob Rachel's older sister, Leah, instead, and Jacob finds himself landed with 2 wives, the one he originally wanted plus her sister along for the ride. Could be a story right out of a modern-day soap opera. But that's so often the case, isn't it? Bribery, corruption, fraud. It all seems so easy and seems to work so well, and yet so often those who use them end up ultimately getting what they deserve. As the Yiddish proverb goes, clever, 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 but not so clever. So why do we do it if we know that it ultimately doesn't work? Because it seems so easy, and because sometimes it seems that people who lie, bribe and steal actually do end up better off. It seems like they don't get what they deserve. Sure, many people are caught and put in prison, but what about the thousands who aren't? Where's the justice in that? Jacob takes a while to get over being conned. In the end, and after some time, he decides to take his family and all his stuff and leave. So he waits for an opportune moment when Laban is off sharing his sheep before legging it. Laban is not best pleased and chases after Jacob. After all, as he points out to Jacob, everything that Jacob has belongs to him. Looks like the con man Laban doesn't like being conned either. After God intervenes, Jacob and Laban leave on friendly terms, and it looks like it's plain sailing for Jacob from here on. Or perhaps not. We'll have to wait until next week to find out what happened to our hustler. Jacob's story is a warning to us not to try and get what we want through cheating or swindling people, because it will ultimately come back to bite us in the tuchus. But it also raises the deeper question that we hinted at earlier. What about when deception does seem to work and bad people don't get their comeuppance? If God is just, why doesn't he punish them? In this world we cry and beg for justice, but we don't seem to get it. But to be honest, I'm glad that we don't. You see, so often we think we want justice, but we really don't. We want justice for our enemies, justice for those who do wrong, but we don't want complete, universal justice, because that would mean that we would also have to face justice. Sure, most of us haven't killed anyone or robbed a bank, but we have lied, cheated, and insulted people, perhaps even on a daily basis. Shouldn't we also face justice? Thankfully, there's a solution to our problem. When the Messiah Yeshua died for all of our wrongdoing and wrong-being, he took on himself the punishment that we deserved. Justice was meted out, but not to us. We were shown mercy while he took the fall for us. How amazing! we can now be forgiven and experience a changed life, one that is not spoiled by the corruption of our old ways. All thanks to the Messiah, Yeshua. So, will the corrupt FIFA officials get what they deserve? Will they get imprisoned or have to pay back the money they embezzled? Who knows? But in any case, the God of justice promises that one day they will have to face him too. If they don't get what they deserve here, they will in the world to come. But so will we. One day we too will stand before God and have to explain our actions. Would you rather face God knowing that the Messiah Yeshua took on your punishment so that you can be forgiven? Or would you rather have justice meted out to you? Personally, I know which one I would rather choose.
That's it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed our Parasha Espresso. Please don't forget to subscribe to make sure you get the latest episodes. We'd love to hear from you, so please get in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or via our website at 𝐕𝐚𝐲𝐞𝐢𝐻𝐻.de.